Hello everyone, my name is Moji. You're watching a Bitcoin Bubble News channel. I don't know what it will do in the next 3 months, but I'm optimistic about the market for the next 2 to 5 years, or even 10 years. I had a long time when I wasn't sure about the item. I asked myself, what if another currency turns out to be better? What if the whole space gets so crowded, but when I learned more about the technology and why it's set up the way it is, I saw the network effects for myself. It's been a pretty good bet for me since the beginning of 2020. And that is still the case after more than 4 years. Lyn Alden is a well-known and respected person in the Bitcoin and cryptocurrency communities. She is an investment strategist and macro analyst. Alden makes difficult topics easy for a lot of people to understand. She is known for having a deep knowledge of macroeconomic issues and how they affect asset prices and the economy as a whole. She has a unique background in both finance and engineering, which helps her learn more about Bitcoin and blockchain technology. In her tweets, articles, and interviews, she successfully shares what she knows. Alden wrote a book in 2023 called Broken Money: Why Our Financial System is Failing Us and How We Can Make It Better. In it, she talks about the problems with the global financial system and how it hurts billions of people while helping the richest 1%. She talks about the paradox of our time. Even though technology has improved and there is plenty of energy, our money system is still old and broken. Alden says that the world's different currencies, which lose value quickly and aren't always accepted across countries, make the financial system work more like a barter system. She says that this method makes it too hard to save money, especially for people who were born in the wrong countries. Sound money is for living. Alden thinks it's time to update our old money system from one that is based on debt and prone to inflation to one that values scarcity, deflation, decentralization, and easy digital payments. Bitcoin, with its unique features, fits this vision exactly. Alden believes that the world is moving towards a Bitcoin standard era marked by widespread adoption and a major rise in its value. This is because Bitcoin is becoming more popular and the global economy is not looking very stable. In her latest interview with Jai Shiu, the professor, she talks more about what she thinks about Bitcoin, stablecoins, and cryptocurrencies in general. We have this kind of 2 or 3 tier centralized money system, which is why it's hard. In the US, things have been pretty good for at least the last 50 years. Our money slowly loses value, and we have many ways to put our savings. In contrast, a country like Egypt does not have the SP 500, so their stock market is not a safe investment or a way to build wealth. Real estate is what they have, but it's not easy to sell. There are a lot of bad things about that. Clearly, they can't put money into their own. Inflation has been around 10% per year on average for the past 50 years, making it impossible to buy things with real money. This is what Bitcoin and stablecoins do. With a stablecoin, you can move money to someone who holds dollars or T-bills, for example. Then they'll give you tokens that can be exchanged for dollars, at least by big people. In that way, they're kind of like digital bills. Things that aren't big enough to redeem them can still trade them with other people. And the major benefit is that it lets countries that have always wanted dollars get them because they wanted a stable currency that was more stable than their own, but not as volatile as gold, Bitcoin, or something similar. As long as they have a smartphone, it makes it easier for them to get dollars and stores them digitally. That's why they're so famous in Argentina, Lebanon, and Nigeria. There are about 160 different currencies in the world. All of them are monopolies in some way. For this reason, you must trust the Nigerian central bank and the government of Nigeria with their money if you are in Nigeria. Because, you can only bring so much value into or out of an airport. The borders are pretty tight. Transfers between banks are closely watched and are often done at fake exchange rates that are not the same. Different a lot from what the real market rate for that coin is. With stablecoins and Bitcoin, I can pay a Nigerian graphic artist in any currency she wants if she shows me a QR code on a video call. She might ask for Bitcoin. A dollar stablecoin would be fine for her. It goes to her through her local bank system. She can then use that peer-to-peer. If she ever leaves Nigeria, she can take it with her everywhere. When she doesn't have a lock on money, she has more options for what to use. Bitcoin is that thing, but it is completely decentralized and very hard to get. That one isn't, because it doesn't have a center hub. You have to deal with the fact that it changes value more quickly, and you don't know what it will be worth in, say, 1 or 2 years. The problem with steady coins is that they are fully controlled by a single group. The goods are held by someone or something. You need to believe in them. You also have to believe that they can work within the rules that apply to them. But I would say that they are like foreign bank accounts for working and middle-class people, not just the rich. They just cut down on the costs of running one of those systems. For example, if you're in Argentina, you might not trust your government to run the currency. People used to be able to take your money from banks, even if you only put dollars in them. This makes you maybe not trust banks. But they say, well, I'll trust this offshore company with small amounts of working capital. But I don't see how Bitcoin could be useful for an American right now. Yes. So one thing about money is that you hold on to it even if you don't plan to use it yourself. In terms of history, that's where money came from. For example, when we hold a gold coin, we don't necessarily plan to melt it down for jewelry or industrial use anytime soon. Instead, we're keeping it because we know that other people use it, a place to store value. From your point of view as an American, we don't usually have trouble with bills or even savings. Our options for safe ways to save money are plenty. One way to look at it is as something that could help billions of people around the world. For example, half of the world lives with some level of authoritarianism, and the other half lives with constant double-digit inflation and multiple hyperinflations in our lifetimes. People in the US usually think of Bitcoin as an investment. And over the last 3, 5, or 10 years, it has done better than the S&P 500, the Nasdaq, and almost everything else except Nvidia. In the US and Europe, it's often seen as an investment, which I think makes sense. In places like Africa and Latin America, on the other hand, there are about 40 different currencies, and each of those countries is a problem. Most of those currencies are not good to hold. These people know that there is a use case for something, even if that use case doesn't apply to them. This means that they are willing to invest in it. For sure, I believe that the things we talked about earlier are to blame for this more persistently high inflation. That doesn't mean they have to happen right away, though. That things need to end. The Congressional Budget Office says that over the next 10 years, $20 trillion in net bonds will be mailed out. Also, they think there won't be any recessions. That means that number will probably be higher during recessions. Usually, they come up short of the number. So let's be safe and say that $20 trillion in bonds will be issued. Taking today's prices into account, the amount of gold that will be mined over the next 10 years is about $2.50 trillion, and about 70 billion bitcoins will be made at the present price. Yes, the prices of gold and Bitcoin can change so that more money can move into them if people want to. If you're just asking, what do I want to own? That's pretty rare. That's pretty much the point. It's clear that good stocks are one of the choices. One choice is to buy good real estate. In the past, art has been a choice, especially for wealthy investors. Bitcoin is also an option because it's easy to move, can be changed